Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my first Star Wars Explained episode. I am Zebra DeHill, and today we're going to be talking about why did the Mad Jedi Joruus C'Baoth help Thrawn, or why did Thrawn need his help? So I'm first going to start by going into some background behind Joruus C'Baoth and the person who originally had the name Joruus C'Baoth. C'Baoth was first a Jedi under the Old Republic, and he was helping to design the Outbound Flight, which was an attempt by the Jedi to preserve their ways outside of the known galaxy. The Outbound Flight would leave the known galaxy to explore the unknown regions and eventually set up a place within the unknown regions that they could train an entire generation of Jedi. They wanted this for a few reasons. The big one was that they wanted a contingency plan in case the Sith were ever able to overthrow the Jedi. And they would still have their base in the unknown regions with this contingency plan. But the reason really why they wanted this was because they didn't really know what was good and bad anymore. They could see that they were getting corrupted, and so they really wanted to have another area of Jedi that they could rely on. So the Outbound Flight was eventually launched, which was led by Master Joruus C'Baoth and 5 other Jedi Masters. Now, Palpatine at this time could not risk another Jedi Order being formed because he was plotting, as you know, to overthrow the Republic, so he arranged for it to be destroyed. And this was the first time that Joruus C'Baoth met Thrawn, because the Chiss commander, which is Thrawn's race, that happened to kill Joruus C'Baoth in the Outbound Flight was Thrawn. Where Thrawn meets up with him, though, where this whole event starts, is Joruus C'Baoth's clone, which is just Joruus C'Baoth with another U in it, so I don't know if there's a pronunciation difference. I always thought they were the same. Palpatine cloned Joruus C'Baoth because Joruus C'Baoth played with both sides of the Force, the good and the bad. And so he cloned him, turned him to the dark side, made him a mad, evil Jedi to protect his storehouse, Mount Haintus on Wayland. And later, when Thrawn had taken control of the Empire, he discovered the existence of this mountain fortress. And Thrawn understood what kind of Jedi Joruus C'Baoth was because he did research when he first wanted to destroy the Outbound Flight. So he knew what type of Jedi Joruus C'Baoth was. And so when he began making arrangements to take this mountain full of secrets, he knew what type of Jedi. He knew what Palpatine had done. He had turned C'Baoth to the dark side, and he knew that he'd be a little insane. Thrawn began making arrangements to take control of the storehouse, and he started by visiting an obscure world called Mykur. Thrawn secured a healthy supply of Yelesmiri. I can never pronounce this lizard's name. I even looked it up again because I always looked it up when I read the book, but I can never remember. But this lizard-like creature that actually repelled the Force. These lizards, they would protect Thrawn from C'Baoth and get him enough time to negotiate with each other, which is all Thrawn wanted. And this is where the question of why did Thrawn let Joruus C'Baoth join the Empire, or why did he need Joruus C'Baoth? At this point in the Galactic Civil War within the Empire, it was pretty much panic time. The New Republic for the first time was about even gunned with the Empire. And with the incompetent leadership that the Empire still had, it seemed like they were destined to fail. This is where Thrawn took over command of the Empire. It took a lot of time for Thrawn to track down the Emperor's Mountain of Secrets, and he knew it had some important things in order for him to be successful in his campaign against the New Republic. Within the fortress, Thrawn hoped to find cloning facilities and designs of a new cloaking device. While Thrawn knew that C'Baoth was an insane Jedi, he understood the presence that C'Baoth could bring, which is where they needed each other comes in. He later explained it to Pellaeon, kind of like in a way I'm explaining it to you, but really I'm telling you it so that the readers will understand whatever. Making him recall the Battle of Endor, how even after the Death Star exploded, the New Republic was still outgunned, but because the Emperor was dead, the Imperial lines just fell apart. Formations fell apart, battle efficiency dropped by huge proportions. And so Thrawn made this connection within the readers, us, and Pellaeon's mind that the Emperor using the Force helped control the battle. In the end, Thrawn could see that he needed to do something different. He needed to change things up, take risks, do things that other military commanders weren't comfortable with doing in order to beat the New Republic. And the New Republic seemed to be outpacing the Empire in all aspects, and Thrawn wanted to change that. He decided, like I said, to start making risks. He made compromises. He made deals. He tried to steal ships from Sluis Von. Even though Thrawn knew that C'Baoth was a crazy madman, he wanted the influence of the Force, so he was willing to risk it. He was willing to put everything on the line just to get C'Baoth. And while the deal was a little bit interesting, I think that Thrawn got the better half of it, because he got the benefits of having a Force wielder on his side, C'Baoth, and all he had to do in return was get him Luke and Leia, which was already a priority of Thrawn's. So it was kind of like, okay, yeah, that's great, perfect, I was already doing that, I'll just send him your way instead. And then a great many things led to this partnership. So first, Thrawn needed access to the storehouse. That was his main objective when it first started out. He just wanted the information inside of it, and it was crucial to the development of his plan for Vic. The second is that in order to get the Mountain of Secrets, he had to go through C'Baoth, either killing him or satisfying him in one way or another. And then his third motivation was that Thrawn wanted the influence of the Force on his side. So the three things that he wanted the mountain he wanted two things. He wanted the mountain, and he wanted the Force on his side, and he wanted to. So in order to get to the mountain, he has to go through C'Baoth. And what does C'Baoth happen to wield? The Force. And so it all kind of fell into place for Thrawn. But what seemed like a perfect deal was, well, C'Baoth's a little insane and a little crazy and a little too obsessed with the Skywalkers. So Thrawn had to make some concessions at the same time. He's like, okay, I'm working with a madman. This would later end up biting Thrawn in the butt, as C'Baoth was a little bit more out of his head than even Thrawn thought. And he was so just crazy that he couldn't even put on like a fake Jedi look for Luke. Like the second Luke got there, Luke thought something was up and that something was wrong with C'Baoth, because he just wasn't good at faking it. He was just so evil, so full of himself, and so crazy that he thought, oh, I'm just gonna act like myself and that'll be enough. But yeah, and that is why Thrawn, I don't think Thrawn needed C'Baoth. That's my personal opinion. I think C'Baoth was a great asset to Thrawn, though. And without C'Baoth, I think the Battle of Bilbringi would have gone a little bit worse for Thrawn, but I still think with or without C'Baoth, almost nothing else would have changed, except for Mara Jade something with the smugglers and Mara Jade might have changed, but other than that, I think C'Baoth was just a big blunder on Thrawn's part. So thank you all so much for listening to my first episode of Star Wars Explained. I'm going to be continuing this series with a few different points as I work my way through reading the Legends books. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about what I said, and I will try to answer them. I'm still working my way through Legends, so I don't know a ton, but there's so much interesting stuff. I just wanted to share it. So thank you guys. Bye.